If you want Matt Nagy fired, then all you got to do is like this video. Hit that thumbs up icon. If it's time to move on, like the video. If I don't see at least 1,000 likes in the chat, I'm going to assume that Packers fans have infiltrated this video because, guys, come on. It is time to move on from Matt Nagy. So like this video if you agree with me and if you think it is time to move on from Matt Nagy. Today's episode of Chicago Bears Now is presented by Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping when you go to manscaped.com and use promo code BEARS20. The Lawnmower 4.0 is the best men's grooming product out there, and you can shave your balls without fear of slicing it up or any of that stuff. Manscaped, it is the place to go for men's grooming products. All right, on today's show, Matt Nagy Replacements. As we film this, he has not been fired. The McCaskies do not fire coaches midseason. I thought there might be a chance during the bye week, but I no longer think that after the Bears fought back against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I'm still very much in the fire Matt Nagy camp overall. Chicago has lost 4 games in a row. And this, by the way, is the 3rd straight season with a 4+ game losing streak. Coaches should not be able to survive that. And, of course, the Bears have a bye week this week as they sit at 3-6 overall at the midway point. They've got 8 games to go, and through 9 games, they've only won 3 of them. Look, there's been some decent moments under Matt Nagy. 2018 was awesome. It's been up and down since then. The Bears need a new direction. They just do. They got to go in a new direction because they've got a new quarterback, and that is Justin Fields. You've got to get a guy in here that can maximize his abilities because we're seeing the flashes. We're seeing the improvements. But I don't trust this coaching staff led by Matt Nagy to maximize Justin Fields and his skill set. So I need a new direction when it comes to the Chicago Bears and who is going to be this head football coach. So I cooked up 10 candidates to replace Nagy in 2022. So we'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. Before we get to my top 10, who should be the next head coach of the Chicago Bears? Let me know who your dream hire would be. If you get hit with the YouTube ad break, scroll on down and reply to the pinned comment with a name of who should be the next Bears head coach. At number 10, a guy we saw during training camp hanging out at Halas Hall, that would be one Doug Pederson. Former Super Bowl champion with the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously is not coaching this year. He obviously did a lot of good things. The run he had with Nick Foles and Carson Wentz playing really well under him before the last year and a half in Philly was impressive, but it also unraveled pretty quickly. I'd probably pass on Dougie P. I'm not saying he's not worthy of an interview. I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I'm saying by the end of his tenure there, his starting quarterback hated him, and I don't love that. I know Carson Wentz has some mental toughness issues that I don't believe Justin Fields has, but I think you can do better than Doug Pederson. He's worthy of being in the top 10, but I've got him at number 10 because he's not my favorite candidate. At number 9, Eric Bieniemy, a guy who has slid way down on my list with the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't love the Chiefs' lack of adjustments at time this year running their offense. Teams have played them pretty similar for about 6 weeks now where they just play soft, deep coverage, and the Chiefs have not done a great job of adjusting. I know Andy Reid calls the plays, so it's not all on Eric Bieniemy, but I don't love the lack of the inability to adjust at times. I still think he's a good candidate. I still think at some point he'll get a chance to be a head coach, but as we sit now, he's not as high on my list, so I'm going to go in a different direction. At number 8, how about this one? Sean Payton with the New Orleans Saints, and just hear me out for a minute. Couple of things. Number 1, what is the future of New Orleans at quarterback? Is it Jameis Winston? It's not Taysom Hill. It's not Trevor Siemian. Is it a rookie draft pick next year? Next year's draft class sucks. Is it a free agent? There's a lot of uncertainty there. And you add this fact in that Sean Payton grew up in a suburb outside of Chicago. I'm just saying it's interesting. Now, you'd probably have to pay huge money to get him to leave New Orleans where he's built an entire life. But I think it's something worth pursuing. Now, we know the McCaskies aren't, they're not the richest of owners out there. Obviously, they're still rich. They're NFL owners. But it's not like it's, Elon Musk or something like that, like who would just pay whatever it would take. It's not that situation. But you know what, man? If I could get Sean Payton on my hands with Justin Fields, that would fire me up big time. There's no doubt about that. How excited would you be if the Bears got Sean Payton. Scale it from 1 to 10. 1 being not at all, 10 being you'd be fired up. How could it not be a 9 or 10? I mean, the almost 20-year run he had with Drew Brees was fantastic, man. So I try to get him, man. I don't know if you can, but I definitely think it's something worth pursuing. Now, Manscaped is sponsoring today's show, so shout out to them. And the Lawnmower 4.0, it's been a product I've been using for quite a while because, listen, man, most ladies out there, some do, and that's okay. They don't like it when it gets out of control down there. They just don't. And my wife was blunt with me a couple of years ago and was like, this ain't cutting it for me. Well, this ain't cutting it, but you got to cut that. And I was like, all right, I'll try and look around. I eventually landed and hooked up with Manscaped. They were like, hey, try the lawnmower. I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. This thing has 4 adjustable guards where you can leave some hair, no hair, a lot of hair, whatever your range is, whatever your lady likes, you're good to go there. Doesn't leave razor pull, no tug. Advanced skin care technology. That's important because a couple other razors I tried with other companies just weren't good, and I was always feeling a little rough down there. You never want that to happen. It's a sensitive area, as you guys know. Get 20% off plus free shipping off the Lawnmower 4.0 when you go to manscaped.com and use promo code BEARS20. At number 7, Joe Brady. Listen, I don't know where I'm at with Brady right now. Sam Darnold has fallen apart. I mostly put that on Sam Darnold, but Joe Brady's the offensive coordinator, and he's the guy who's got to call the plays and maximize that. I still like him. He wouldn't be a top guy for me right now with the way Carolina has trended the last several weeks, but I still have that LSU season in mind with Joe Burrow just being unbelievable and having the best season in college football history just a couple of years ago. So he's a little lower than he was last time, but I still like him. Real quick on college football, too. I omitted Ryan Day from this list because I don't think it's super likely, but I would call Ryan Day the head coach at Ohio State. Let's call him an honorable mention. All right, at number 6, Josh McDaniels. Obviously, Day, Fields head coach in college, obviously. McDaniels, though, what he's doing with Mac Jones, guys, is pretty damn impressive. Now, Mac Jones isn't putting up gaudy numbers, but he's managing the game well. McDaniels is putting him in good spots to succeed. I think he's more mature than when he got the Denver job, 12, 13 years ago with Tim Tebow, whenever that was. I think he's ready for another chance. Now, the chatter forever is that he's going to replace Belichick whenever he retires in New England. But what if Belichick wants to coach for another 5, 10 years? I mean, I don't see Belichick slowing down anytime soon. So, I don't know. I'm just saying, throwing it out there. Josh McDaniels, producer Jack says no chance because he's a Patriots fan. But he's a homer. Don't listen to him. All right, top 5, Greg Roman. By the way, Mac Jones going to get suspended? We'll see. We'll see. Greg Roman, as producer Jack yells in my ear, he's done great with Lamar, man. The OC for the Ravens. I like Roman. I think he runs his offense based on the talent he has, and that's what he's done with Lamar. He's kind of run that power read option type of offense. Lamar has improved every year as a passer under him as well. Now, Justin Fields isn't Lamar, so I'm not saying Greg Roman should come in here and run that same offense. I think you can have some of those schemes in here where you utilize Fields' mobility a little bit more, but Fields is a drop-back passer, obviously. But I do think they need to utilize his legs more. The point is, whoever you hire, and you probably have caught on to this theme, they're all offensive coaches, get someone who can come in here and maximize Justin Fields' skill set, which is something Matt Nagy and company have not been able to do. Subscribe to the channel because we're going to try and reach 37,000 subs before the Bears game against the Ravens in just a couple of weeks. Help us get there. We're just over 800 away. YouTube.com/BearsNow. We'll have you guys covered on a daily basis leading up to Week 11 against the Baltimore Ravens. So subscribe and be sure to join us every single day for Bears videos. Top 4, Byron Leftwich. Look, he's a hot name. You talk to people in NFL circles, they all say the same thing. He's ready to be a head coach. He's an offensive guy. He's working under Bruce Arians, one of the better offensive minds in recent NFL history. I like him quite a bit. I think he can connect with Justin Fields as a former African-American quarterback that had success in the NFL. I think that is a valid point to make. And like Fields, Leftwich wasn't mobile, but he was definitely a pass-first quarterback, which is what Fields is. So I think that there is potential there with that relationship if they wanted to bring him in. This is an interesting one, and I tweeted this out. Would Bears fans want to hire Kyle Shanahan? He wouldn't be my top choice, but his seat is getting hot in San Francisco, and quite frankly, I would be interested. Now, here's the problem. Here's the problem with Shanahan. He drafted Trey Lance over Justin Fields. That's a problem. You would have to be able to mend that situation. But if you can, the Bears have personnel to run Shanahan's offense. Good running backs, physical offensive linemen if these tackles pan out. This line is better in run blocking schemes than pass blocking. We know Shanahan likes to run that zone read or that power zone offense, and I think with Montgomery and Khalil Herbert, that's got a ton of potential. Play action with Justin Fields coming off of that is Fields' strengths. I'm just saying, if you can mend that thing where he didn't draft Fields, it's interesting. I don't know if the Bears would do it. I don't know if he's going to get fired, but I like Shanahan's offense a lot, and I think the personnel Chicago has really fits what he would want to do. Would you hire Kyle Shanahan? That's the question. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Again, it's a bit of a curveball, but I think it's pretty interesting at the end of the day. So go ahead and let me know what you guys think. All right, number 2. 1 and 2 are close. It's almost 1A, 1B. Brian Daboll for the Buffalo Bills, and then we'll go ahead and reveal one, and then we'll talk about each one at a time. Kellen Moore at 1. Talk about Daboll first. Obviously, weird timing, weird performance from Buffalo losing to the Jags. I don't know what that was, but I'm going to call that an anomaly. We've got a couple of years of Josh Allen's development to show that he can work really well with a young quarterback with good physical traits. I like his offense. He's a confident play caller. Now, he doesn't run the ball much in Buffalo, and I think that in Chicago he would need to run the ball more, but he's also got better running backs in Chicago if he ends up coming over, so I don't think that would be a big issue. Like him a lot. Kellen Moore, listen, I'm all in on Kellen Moore. He's my top guy right now. Again, they're coming off a bad performance as well, the Dallas Cowboys, but you don't play well every week. That's just life in the NFL. Tom Brady lost to Trevor Siemian a couple weeks ago. It happens. Kellen Moore's offense utilizes a lot of pre-snap motion. Justin Fields' skill set is very similar to Dak Prescott's, and he has made Dak into a fringe MVP candidate. A couple of weeks ago, he doesn't have Dak. He goes on the road to Minnesota in prime time with Cooper Rush, and he trusts Cooper Rush more than Mike Zimmer trusted Kirk Cousins. That speaks volumes. I think relationship-wise, he could connect with Justin Fields very well. I'm all in on him. He's young. He could be your 20-year head coach if he ends up panning out. I like that quite a bit. He's my top guy right now, and that can certainly change because we'll probably do a fresh list here in 2, 3, 4 weeks, depending on how the Bears are playing over the next month or so. So there you go. There's my list. 10 candidates to replace Matt Nagy in Chicago. Who should be the Bears' next head coach? And if you're a weirdo and want to keep Matt Nagy, you can type Matt Nagy, but give me another name. Let's be honest. You can upgrade from Matt Nagy.